we're on Facebook Live builds our audience. It's a little before 7. Coming to you live from Everything Philly. It's 7 o'clock, but we're waiting for some people to jump on. You know, we usually get this thing started about 7:05 by the time some people get out here. Coming to you live from Everything Philly restaurant on Highland Road outside of LSU. And our first person just joined. Hey, Tasha. Waiting for some people to come online. Tasha is the director at the Council on Aging here in Baton Rouge. It does great work. Hopefully you all know who they are and have contributed to them helping our seniors. Hey Tasha, glad to see you join us. Trudy was here last week. And I know you want some pizza. Hopefully, Tasha, you can share this video on your feed so that all your friends take a look. Hey, Colin Alexander just joined us. Tasha likes the cheesesteaks. And there's talking to cheesesteaks and Philadelphia food. Phil joined us. Phil's our general manager here at Everything Philly. We're going to have a few more people join us and then we'll get started. Usually start about 5 minutes after, so just kind of shoot the breeze until we get going. I know I'm looking around, but y'all know, if you know me from personally, you know I can't stand people behind my back, so I got to keep looking to see who's next to me and behind me. While we have you on there, and since this is taping and we're gonna or filming and recording, I'm gonna mention that, don't forget, I'm doing the free business seminar on March the 4th. It's from 9 to 3 p.m. It's great for anybody that's wanting to start a business or people who currently own a business. I'm going to teach you a lot of different things about business, things that most owners should know that really don't. So that is Saturday, March the 4th, and it's going to be off of Segan Lane at the Holiday Inn Express. You can go to www.bizbootcamp.info and register, or let your friends know, and they can register there as well. Hey Michelle. Ariel told me I have to be interactive with people. Make sure I look down and see who's signing on, who's coming on to join us live. Don't forget to share this feed so that your people, your friends can maybe join in too. All right. Well, since we're going, like I said, since we're recording, I'm going to go ahead and get started. It's about 5 minutes after, and I like to start on time. The 5 minutes waiting kills me. So today we're going to talk about something, and if I ask most business owners what they think is their major competitor or their primary competitor, most of them say, oh, the business down the street or the business around the corner, some national chain. That's actually not your biggest competitor. Your biggest competitor in your business is actually waste. When we talk to business owners and I ask them, hey, tell me about your business and tell me what's more important to you, what do you need right now, almost everyone will say more sales. And sales are important. Let's not underestimate those. But at the same time, if a business operates at a 10% profitability margin, that means if they want to put $1,000 on their books, they have to sell $10,000 in additional products or service in order to get to that point. So what is important? Sales are important, but more importantly is waste, because if you can take off or eliminate $1,000 worth of waste in your business every month, that's $1,000 you put on the books, and it sure is easier to reduce the waste than to go out and find new customers. Eric and everybody, thank you for sharing the video, because that means more people can see it. At any rate, so I divide your business into 6 basic areas. There are a lot of areas of the business. When we look at a business, we look at over 235 areas in most businesses, but there are 6 major areas of the business, and this is where you're going to find your waste. Most of it starts though right at the top with the owner, and complacency or procrastination. Most of our business owners will tell us, oh, I mean to do something. I've been writing this policy book. I've been writing my handbook for a year now. It doesn't take that long. It's usually because they're procrastinating or putting things off instead of getting them done. And then the other factor is complacency. They say, I'm happy with where things are. I'm making enough money. I don't want to make any more. But ask yourself one simple question. Would your employees say the same thing if you asked them, are they making as much as they could? So there's always a benefit in increasing the business and making more money, because you can spread and share that to your employees. Hey Corey, you joined us too, and my wife and Ariel, and everybody's starting to come in, so that's a great thing. So we're going to get started. The first area is human resources, and what kind of waste happens in human resources areas? Things like not having a handbook. How can your employees operate if they don't know what your company rules are? What does your company stand for? If they don't know that, they can't operate fully. That's a wasted employee resources. Evaluations. They don't know how they're doing unless you tell them how they're doing. So to have a regular evaluation system is important. Training, ambiguous responsibilities. If you do not train your employees and you do not tell them what's expected of you, there's no way they're going to go ahead and perform optimally for you. And that is, again, just wasted talent. And then the other issue, turnover, and this is the biggest issue in a business, having to do with human resources. The Department of Education, Department of Labor just classifies a ditch digger as the lowest classification. And by that, what they mean is it's a very simple job, not physically, but it's easy to teach somebody. You tell them, here's where you go, here's what you do, and they do it. But they also calculated that if you lose a ditch digger, a company loses a ditch digger, it costs $2,700 to replace that person. And you might think how, but you've got downtime of not having a person. You've got to advertise. You've got to interview all your prospective people. You've got to run background checks. You've got to get them in. You got to train them. And then you just have a wasted productivity amount, because it does take a little time for them to get up to par. So if it costs $2,700 to replace a ditch digger, how much does it cost to replace somebody in your business that's more highly qualified and does more and has a more technical aspect to their job? So human resources is wasted employees. The next area of waste in your company comes in the area of finance and accounting. If you don't have a pre-engineered budget, if you don't have accurate billing processes, if you are slow in collecting your money from clients, you're not going to do anything but waste time, money, energy, and resources. All of those things will affect your profitability down the line. And the last area is the break even. Most people have heard of Black Friday and they know what that is. It just means that they're having a sale, but very few people actually know what it means. And that's the day of the year that traditionally businesses come out of the red and into the black. And simply put, what it means is they have now in the first 11 months of the year covered all of their expenses that they're going to incur through the end of the year, which means what? Everything they sell is pure profit from that point on. If you know what your break-even point is by the week, by the month, by the year, you can base your sales off of that item. So if you have a weekly break-even, all you need to do is go ahead and set up and say, okay, my expenses for the whole week are $4,000. I now have done $4,000 worth of sales. I have those covered. So now I'm going to go ahead and put everything else on sale, because everything else I do for the rest of the week is break even, is above break even, and it's pure profit to the business. So those are very important features. Then the next area of the business is sales. Most businesses don't have a written sales plan. They don't have any idea. They send their people out. They don't have set goals for them. They don't have procedures on how they need to attack the sales. You need to have a sales plan. If you don't have any kind of referral system, you're greatly lacking. At First Financial, we do very, very little advertising. All of our business and new business comes from client referrals, people that are happy with us and go ahead. And we have systems in place where we reward those people for those systems. Next, dissatisfied customers. You got to attack the issue. If you have somebody that's not happy, attack the issue. Don't run from it. Don't hide from it. And then the last one is no follow-up. If you don't follow up with your customers, especially your prospective customers, you're going to waste a lot of money in sales. The third or the fourth area is operations. In this area, you have things like underutilized staff. You have employees that might be in the wrong job. Don't fire them. Find out what they're good at, find out what they enjoy doing, and put them into a position and give them responsibility that corresponds with that. No follow-up, again, with your clients. If you don't follow up with them, you're going to have problems. Poor website design. People have got to find you. You know, we had the last seminar last month, or in January, and we signed up 50 people for the class, and only 6 of them had a website. The other ones, we couldn't even find a presence online. It's 44 people who had businesses that you couldn't find where they were or what they do or how to get in contact with them. So get your website together. And then the last one in the operations area is the policy and procedure manual. You know, most business owners can't take off from for vacation. My wife and I actually go and take vacation 4 times a year. And when I leave, I don't get phone calls. Why? Because we have policies and procedures written and in place. So if something comes up, a question comes up, people know how to answer that. And so, you know, policy and procedure manual is very, very important. The 5th area is the communication in the business, and this is mostly communication with your employees. You have to keep your employees in the loop. They have to know what's going on. They have to know what your expectations are, what your goals are, and what you want to do with your business. We have a meeting every Monday with every department head in the business to talk about not only First Financial, but all 21 companies in our WMT group. So, you know, everyone is aware of what's going on, then they can in turn talk to their staff and let them know what's going on. Don't keep secrets from them. It doesn't help you. Keeping your employees in the loop is important, but you also have to be able to recognize them. You should have some kind of employee recognition system, whether that's some form of bonuses, a trophy, a once a year, employee of the year, an employee of the month. Employees like recognition. At the same time, you need to get employee feedback. They have got to feel like they can come to you and ask you questions. If they can't come to you and express their concerns or feel like they're important in the business, this is wasted talent. People always have things to say, always have suggestions. They might not always be the best ones, you might not always decide to take them, but at the same time, you should get them and they should feel like they can come to you and tell you about that. And then there's no formal system for handling customer complaints. Again, if your customers are dissatisfied and you don't know it, or you handle their complaint wrong, you're going to lose that customer. Not only going to lose that customer, but you're probably going to lose 15 people as a result of it as well. Okay, so you need to have a system for handling complaints. And then the last part of that area is no employee evaluations or self-evaluations. You have to rate your people, you have to rank them, you have to let them know how they're doing and where they can improve. At the same time, you heard me say self-evaluations. You have to give them a self-evaluation form that's going to let them evaluate their own behavior, because the funny thing is, if you put the self-evaluation next to your evaluation, you will find that your employees typically think that they're doing a great job. They don't feel like they can do any better. And so there's a disconnect there. Once you get the communication issue handled, believe me, your business will operate a lot more efficiently. And then the last area of the business is the administration side, which includes things like the owner being spread too thin. I talked about this in one of my other talks, which is delegating responsibility. You've got to be able to delegate responsibility. You've got to give your people the opportunity to show you that they can do things. And it's easy to forget because I do this very readily, but a couple of weeks ago, our project manager came to me and asked me why I was at Office Depot. That for an owner is something that shouldn't happen. I shouldn't have been shopping at Office Depot for supplies. We have a system in place for that. We have a supply list. We have a person that goes and gets the supplies once a week. It shouldn't have been me, and she was absolutely right. So the owner can spread themselves too thin because they feel like they have to do everything. The next thing that most owners don't do is they don't have any long-term growth plan. Put a plan in writing and write it and do that. My wife is giving a speech next week on goal setting. You've got to set goals. You've got to have short-term goals. You've got to have long-term goals. You've got to have measurable goals. You've got to have a way to know whether you're on track, not on track, or fall behind, because it's easy to say you want to do $1 million a year or 1.2 million to make it easy. If you want to do $1.2 million a year, that's great. But if you're not tracking that each month to notice, did I do $100,000 this month? By the end of the year, you're going to find yourself looking at, doing $600,000 instead of the 1.2 million, and say, where did the whole year go? Okay, so you need a long-term strategy. You need a long-term growth strategy for where you want to take your business. No ROI measuring, return on investment. Most people have heard that term, and all that means is when you spend money to do anything, you spend money on equipment, you spend money on advertising, you need to get your return on that and have a way of measuring, did I get a return on that? So don't just say I'm going to spend $5,000 a month on TV, $5,000 a month on radio, $5,000 a month in magazines, $5,000 a month on newspapers, because you're going to spend $20,000 and you're not going to know where your people came from. It's a simple thing. You put a different ad in each one, giving them some particular benefit so that when they come to you, they say, oh, I saw this or I saw that, and you know where that came from. You can then pull your ad from a place that's not making money and put the more money in a place that is actually generating your referrals. So you've got to be able to measure the return that you're spending on your dollars. And then the last thing is the owner's balanced lifestyle. You've got to find it out. You've got to find something to do. You've got to turn off. You've got to unplug. You've got to get used to enjoying the fact that you do not have to be at work 24 hours a day. Sure, you might think of something in the evening, but you need to unplug, whatever that is. If you have children, if you have grandchildren, if you enjoy a hobby, you got to do something to get away from the business. And that's one of the big problems with most business owners, is they spend too much time thinking about the business, worrying about the business. Put it in perspective, work your time wisely, and enjoy your balanced lifestyle, because otherwise you're going to burn out, you're not going to enjoy your business, and you will not be able to do to stay very good. And by the way, just got a joke from one of the people that just asked if her husband heard what I just said, and I don't know if he heard what he said, but hopefully he did. And that's the thing, you usually have somebody else in your life that would really like to see you more, so you should do that. So I'm getting ready to wrap it up because that's the time. It's been almost 15 minutes. I want to mention again that we are having the free business seminar on March the 4th. If you'll go to www.bizbootcamp.info, that's BIZBOOTCAMP.info. You can register there. It's very quick to RSVP, and I hope that I see you all there. And don't forget, there is a First Financial YouTube channel where I will post this video tomorrow, and there are the ones from the previous times. So thanks again for joining us. Thanks for everyone sharing us, and have a good night. Peace.